Velma. That
Ah,
Mindy Kaling's Velma show has had the amazing ability to unite left and right in hating it.
yes.
And isn't that almost more important than making a good TV show? I,
Yes. Yeah.
that's why HBO Max has, according to Screen Rant, made the bold decision of giving this train wreck a second series. And damn it, I thought we could get away with not talking about Velma.
Yeah, I thought so too, but no. I guess enough people hate watched it that they're like, "Oh, we're gonna keep going with it."
Yep, that's why we don't hate watch things we don't like, people.
Yes, yes. Although, in to be fair, it is kind of a double-edged sword because it's like, okay, well, you say, well, if you haven't seen it, how do you know it's bad? And then if you watch it and then you see it, and they're like, oh, people are watching it, so people, we need to keep
Yes.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also something where I watched a couple clips. This is not remotely expensive animation.
No, no, yeah. We were talking before the show. It's very Cal Arts esque.
Right. It's like a more adult version of CalArts. It isn't quite Bean Mouth and like well, it isn't the classic Bean Mouth meme, but it is
Hmm.
like very light on detail.
Yeah, yeah. Ninjato, yeah. Hate watching made a season two.
Yes, it's just like the what you do, you don't you don't feed it. You just realize this looks stupid and life is short. I think
Yeah.
I'll do other things with it.
Yes. And like you, I saw a couple of clips from the show. I saw the scene that in the courtroom where Velma demonstrates that Fred can't feed himself.
I also saw a clip where they just cut to two cockroaches screwing in the bathroom for no reason. It's like, man, this school sucks. Yeah, that's an actual scene in the show, first
Yep.
episode. I, I believe it's the first episode, possibly second.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, and, there's one thing I want to mention real quick. There's a scene in there where they show all the girls in the girls' shower, and they show like I think they show bare butts. And keep in mind, all those girls are high school; they're underage. Um, so I don't want so if you're okay with that, I don't want to hear any of those people complaining about anime girls
Ever again.
ever again. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Double standards.
Yes.
Um, Now, I'll say that probably the reason they would consider doing this is because it is getting viewed, apparently,
Hmm.
or and it's also a cheap show to make. And also, there's a level where once you've started a production, it's cheaper to continue on with that production than it is to start a new show.
Right.
Because, like for every show that actually gets made, you probably have 100 pilots that get produced and somebody has to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah. But
It's weird that they're letting it happen with this brand though, considering that how much Hanna-Barbera, which is a subset of Warner Brothers at this point,
mhm.
has fought tooth and nail to keep Seth MacFarlane's grubby hands off of the Flintstones.
Yeah.
That's Seth MacFarlane's greatest dream, it seems, is to make a more adult-oriented Flintstone show, and he has been trying for many years, and he keeps getting rebuffed even when it gets close.
Yeah. That. Yeah. That's well, probably a good thing. I'm not sure I would want to watch a Seth MacFarlane made Flintstones show. Um,
I think the other thing is that they are very much willing to experiment with Scooby Doo more than other things. Probably because they always have a Scooby Doo show in some sort of production.
yeah.
If not actively putting out episodes, it's only been recently canceled and they already have the next thing.
Hmm.
So like they a few years back they actually did a pretty good movie that was the Mystery Inc. version of Scooby Doo teaming up with the Brave and the Bold Batman, and it
Oh
called back
yeah.
to those old crossovers specials.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. I've seen the images on there. Yeah, and
It's worth a
and
watch.
yeah, yeah, and they did a kind of like CGI animated movie a couple of years back. Like, kind of got killed by COVID.
Yeah, and the sequel is one of the ones that got canceled.
Yeah,
Who thought Scooby Doo needed to be for adults? So here's the thing about it. Scooby Doo is one of those brands where the characters are all old enough that they're in a phase of their life where it doesn't take too much of a nudge to make it a more adult show.
yeah,
Because like it's a very flexible premise. Remember those Cartoon Network specials like Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, where they suddenly started running into real thing after real thing after real thing after 30 years of it always being about skepticism and uncovering fake ghosts or whatnot.
yeah, yeah.
Like that technically is a complete violation of the formula, but it worked because you still kept the mystery aspect and had the characters be recognizable.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, and Fred is the preppy guy, and then you got Daphne, who's his girlfriend, and then
Hmm.
Velma's the smart one, and Shaggy's the stoner, and they get
Scooby Doo's the dog for the kids.
Scooby Doo's the dog for the kids, and leave Scrappy Doo out of it. We don't need
Yes.
Scrappy Doo.
So and also they've have been willing to let things like Harvey Birdman happen
Hmm.
to the Scooby Doo cast. So it's less of a shock than I think, or it's less out of keeping for the series. The problem is it's just not good.
Yeah, yeah, and we were you mentioned before people on the left and the right both hate the show, and it's interesting because you have like um, people who are accusing Mindy Kaling of doing this as a psyop, and
Yes, supposedly it's so bad
yeah,
that oh well she's clearly right wing. Never mind that the the only thing that she seems to disagree with the left on is possibly certain aspects of transgenderism, but the
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean that. Yeah, there's. Yeah, no, no. Mindy Kaling is very, very left leaning.
yes,
Um,
she just might have one disagreement. How dare she?
yeah, yeah,
What's hilarious about it is that it's so bad that people are going, is this bad on purpose? Because this almost feels like a right wing troll parody of what they would think we would do.
yeah,
Uh, it's Poe's law, where it's hard to tell a sincerely bad thing from a parody of the same.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And Ninja Toast is yeah, and Shaggy's the one who goes through character arcs. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. uh, and again, like I think this is just going to be a temporary phase. We're going to have a more kid friendly Scooby Doo show up
Hmm.
very shortly. But at the same time, we've talked before about how you notice that they've been purging a lot of kid-oriented animation from HBO Max
Hmm.
because they know that the HBO Max audience, because of the HBO audience, is more adult-oriented. So that's actually the perfect streaming service to put an adult-oriented Scooby-Doo on.
Right.
Keep that off of Netflix or Hulu or whatnot, where the kids will be watching.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it makes a sort of stupid sense. Like when you have friggin' VTubers talking about how bad the show is.
Yeah.
Everybody hates this show,
Yeah.
but it's getting a second season because we couldn't look away.
Yeah. It's like a car wreck. You just like you gotta look.
So
It.
congratulations, you've made it so that's financially viable for them to keep making more episodes of the show you hate.
Yes.
The-
Yeah. It's
uh,
it's yeah. It's the new Batwoman.
yep. The the funniest thing to me is that there's the rumor that it's going to turn out that Scooby Doo in the show is a black woman, and it's like that's ridiculous. That's never going to happen. It's like the fact that it's believable that they would do that
Yeah. It.
is
Yeah.
very it says a lot about the current state of culture.
Yeah. And that's like wrong on so many levels.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's like how the creator of Steven Universe had a character that she was contemplating putting in the show, who
Hmm.
was one of the few clearly black characters, and made a point in the character design. And this is a character who never made it past character design. Like made a note: character is illiterate.
Oh.
So you picked that character to be the illiterate one, huh?
Hmm.
How interesting.
Yes. Sort of like with the Cowboy Bebop live action when they made Jet Black, Jet Black a black man. Okay, yeah, you made a black man with the last name Black. Oh, and you made him a deadbeat dad. Way to go.
Who was when he wasn't? I don't think he didn't have a kid in the original, right?
No, no.
Congratulations. You were so woke that you wrapped around to racism.
Yep. Jeez.
Yeah, the best line I heard was, "Well, they're saying that isn't true. That Scooby Doo rumor isn't true," and the person was like, "Yeah, well, I want it to be true. We need more content."
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so we're kind of out of the realm of everybody agrees it's trash, so let's point and laugh, to a
Yes.
couple of more contentious topics.